So it's my pleasure to be involved in Trial 4, which was the knowledge management in the private sector. And these are the people, or these are the organisations involved. So the Victorian Department is the lead agency, and then we've got a couple of industry people, sugar and horticulture, and New South Wales DPI is involved as well, along with Jana and myself. So the trial objectives for Trial 4 are really, they're listed there. And if you separate out the first three and the last three, that's sort of the way in which the trial is designed. So the trial's involved with two workshops. The first one is really addressing those first 3 points. Then there's some interaction that's dealing with what's come out of those workshops, and then a follow-up workshop after that to see how effective those interactions have been. So what we've done is we've run two workshops, we've run a workshop with two different groups, and we've selected those. They actually represent quite two different models, I guess. The first workshop we ran with the Best Wool, Best Lamb facilitators. And for people that are not in Victoria and don't know that organisation, it's a network of about 60 farmer groups in Victoria. It started in about the mid-1990s. It was an Agriculture Victoria initiative, gets funding from AWI, and then there is specific funding for programs that people like MLA put in to help us to deliver particular topics. It's an interesting organisation in that the groups are basically facilitated by private providers, so it's a nice mix of private and public engagement. And I guess we chose it because it was an established network which was actively engaged in the in knowledge transfer, and it was a focus group, and I guess we picked them and saw them at advantage there because they do sit in the middle of that between, say, research and delivery of extension. So quite a wide range of experience and skills in there. As I said, most of the groups have been going since about 1990. The other one that we met with was people from Project Catalyst. Excuse me. Project Catalyst is in the sugar industry. We met in Mackay. It's a partnership between grain growers, private consultants, NRM groups, some public funding, and some corporate sponsors. And its key focus is the improvement of water quality from agricultural catchments that go into the Great Barrier Reef. So, and it was chosen, I guess, because some of the feedback we had was that there really wasn't much of a connection of information flow within that area. Oh, thanks. And so it's a much more amorphous group. The people we had at that meeting was from industry. There were farmers, there were facilitators, and there was representatives from the R&D Corporation as well. So the purpose of that first meeting was to, I guess, to get people to talk about what the current situation was with the R&D system as they saw it, what were the issues and opportunities that arose, identify shared interests and recognise if there were conflicting interests as well. And I guess in doing that, there were visions of the future about what the trial could achieve. So I thought it was really quite interesting and there's some commonality that came out with both those groups, and certainly a lot of commonality with the survey work that Ruth put up before. So if we look at what happened with the Best Wool group, there were three areas that came up, and these, I guess, reflected the reviews as well. First was extension methods, how to deliver on-ground results and do that effectively. The really big one, I thought, was informing research priorities. There was a real disconnect with the R&D process, and that was both from the ground up and from the influencing research priorities, and also then being able to interpret and put those research priorities into the ground. And people talked about before that linear model of extension. Well, I think the perception was that still really exists, and there's a lot of work to do to make it a much more interactive and cooperative process. And then the third area was really knowledge acquisition and assessment. And that really revolved around the need to access relevant, reputable information. So there was a combination of individual, I guess, responsibilities that sit in there, but there was also, I think, some issues there of systemic issues that need to be addressed, and then a combination of both. If we deal with Project Catalyst, there wasn't this cohesion that we had with the Best Will group. There seemed to be silos of information and influence. The issue of industry knowledge maintenance was a big issue. People moved in and out, took the information with them, who owned it. And that tied in with IP issues. If you've got the information, you may not want to share it. It puts you into non-competitive advantage. And the issue was that there was really, I think, a big disconnect between the industry, between players in the industry. Lack of recognition of farmer skill. The research was seen to be detached from reality, and there's poor translation of research on farm. So what we've come up with is a whole range of issues, and the steps that we've got to do now is to go back to the individual participants, identify what were the key, and the people that have influence in the area, identify what those key areas were, and work out an action plan, evaluate how that's gone, and then use that to, I guess, see the way in which the models might be tweaked, or what is an appropriate model that will suit those industries, or suit the, or make those organisations more effective. So, having had those undertaking those actions, evaluate them, and then we'll be reporting back at a second meeting.